Okay, I'm now at this last section. It actually turns out to be the last section. There is no sixth section. Gotta fix that. Which is about fathers and sons again. And so keep in mind that we were just in Top Gun, where the whole story turns out to be about dads and sons at war. And as with Top Gun, here we have a story about families where the women there just aren't any. They're just kept off screen. There is the grandmother, who presumably is this understanding elder individual who is sympathetic to Chris and so on, and is not caught up in the same certainties that the World War II generation is caught up in, because that would be Chris's parents, right? Chris's father would be a World War II veteran. And more particularly, we know that in this case, Chris, as he says, has two fathers. And so there's the scene of the booby trap, and then, which we'll see, and then basically the big fight between Barnes and Elias. The booby trap is this interesting scene because it shows you Barnes in a moment of quiet. So have a look at that, and then I'll come on and talk.
Let's go. Medic! Holy gee!
So what you see there is this very interesting moment, and I think this is one of the kind of things that Stone really does well, where Taylor comes across Barnes, who is sitting there, and he's just sad and angry and beaten, and he's tired, and Taylor sees this. And this is the moment of seeing basically what it is to be a parent, that you cannot keep your children safe. And so Barnes is the father of the platoon, but of course so is Elias. And so Chris at this point realizes that he is as he says, a child of two fathers, and this is very much quoted. I mean, people love this, they just adore it. And so it turns out that the whole narrative is really about fathers and sons again, not really about Vietnam. And by this time, the film is entirely not about Vietnam at all, really, any more than Top Gun is about any particular war. It's just sort of this series of events that, there's this dogfight and stuff happens, and nothing comes of it. It's, it's just there's this little dogfight over the Indian Ocean somewhere or whatever. And so the same thing happens here. And so there's this understanding again of this as being a very American story, which is very much a masculine story. And that's sort of what I would like you to get. Ultimately, okay, I see I still have this 6th point, and so I'll take that up now, which is that the film works to flatten out the complications of Vietnam by making it into a Bible story. You can't bring the Bible into a narrative like this and lay down a biblical structure and say, Elias is like Elijah or Christ, and Barnes is like Ahab or a sinner, basically, without pretty much just bending the story out of shape. You just can't do it. As soon as that stuff appears, you have to go back and re-examine the narrative, and you have to look again at, because once you bring in the Bible, you're going to make claims about who's going to be saved and who is not going to be saved. And then you divide the world into a world of good and evil. It becomes a Manichaean worldview. That's a huge problem, because Vietnam, if anything, if nothing else, let's put it this way, was one big, huge gray area. Okay.